Hey, what's going on, guys? I wanted to share something with you today that I actually wrote. I do a lot of writing from time to time, and I figured, you know what? Let me start sharing some of this stuff on here. So I figured you might dig it. This is a little deep, so I hope that you stick with me, and hope you enjoy it. Do you exist? Now, I'm not talking about whether or not your body is alive and breathing. I'm referring to the you that is within. The you that you think of as you. Your likes, dislikes, your beliefs, your desires. It is very easy to answer this question with a yes until you realize what I'm actually saying. If born into a small village in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by forest and taught by the elders that live there, their beliefs, their culture, their norms, would you not be swayed completely by their ideas and not your own? If free thinking was not encouraged. If the forest extended in all directions farther than you could travel without having to go back for food, and no one taught you to hunt or forage on your own, would you not stay? Would you not choose a position in the community that you believe to be the best available, as nothing else existed? Would you not mold yourself around the experiences that you had in the microcosm that you believed to be the only world that ever was? Now, what if the townsfolk taught you right from wrong? What if they told you of a time when they were living in fear of the dragons that lurked beyond the forest walls, which is why you should stay, but that they had escaped and hidden there in the forest for centuries? They told you that the sky was orange and the ground blue. The rains that came were gifts from those of old, those who had died before you. The sun rose and set on tracks set in place by the gods, and the laws in effect were made by the same. This is the way it was, is, and always will be, and any other ideas were shunned. In that exact setting, who would you become? If based upon the world that we currently live in, a massive percentage of people would become ingrained in that society and believe what was told to them. On completely automated software, they would go about their lives, busy bees in the honeycomb system, completely unaware that beneath the exterior of their jobs, their loved ones, the games that they would play, and the beliefs they have held as truth, they were simply cogs in a machine, not individuals living their lives. So in essence, these people and their minds are operating without consciously carving their own path, and they are going on beliefs that were presented to them, not ones that are their own. Many people operate on a belief system, a group of beliefs that govern their lives. The problem being is that these beliefs have never been challenged by the individual in question, and they take them as truth. The problem with truth is oftentimes truth is just a belief held by someone until it is proven false. And a belief system is nothing more than a collection of ideas that are held to be true. The biggest trouble of all is whose belief system are you living your life by? If you have never taken the time to question why you believe in marriage, why are you buying these shoes 10 times more expensive than the ones that look just like it? Why do you hate gays? Why can't you forgive someone who wronged you years ago? Why can't you respect someone else's beliefs, even if they're not your own? Now, obviously, the media plays off of this, and negativity currently sells. But what if you stopped buying it? Wouldn't the product have to change if no one is buying it? Did you ever stop and think that maybe that it is by our own decisions that keep us in this perpetual hatred and feelings of anger towards each other over differing points of views? And that is exactly what keeps us trapped in the cycle of living in a world that does not have peace and that we constantly complain about? Stop waiting for a savior. We need to empower ourselves to control what we can. It's very easy to let things go to shit if you just think someone else is going to come and clean it up for you. Stop waiting for a new president to fix the world. We are the world. And a better economy isn't going to make you pick up your trash you're leaving in the woods or stop buying clothes made by slave labor. It's you that needs to change and think for yourself. Govern your own life and be the change that you want to see in the world. If you are not conscious to the reasons of why you do things, or why you can't be happy until you have this or that, and where those beliefs come from, then they don't come from you. And pursuing those paths will only lead to frustration and confusion in your life as to why, when you finally obtain those things, you are still not happy. The way out of this trap is to become completely conscious of as much as you can. This is a very difficult task, and daily growing occurs. But once you have the mindset for it, it will happen. Think for yourself. Don't just say that you do. It is very common and typical to hear someone say they think for themselves, and they get offended when anyone points out anything that is different than their own beliefs. Oftentimes, this is from them holding on so desperately to whatever they identify with, even if it simply came from their favorite celebrity's mouth. It is their reality, and it is what they hold to be true. The reason that they get offended is that anything that questions what they believe would force them to think on their own, and this is something that they've never done. Normally, this is because of fear of consequences, of breaking out of one's belief systems, and losing friends and even family members, or worse, having to completely reinvent themselves and accepting things that they've believed their entire lives might actually be false, regardless that they invested a huge amount of time or resources into it. Pursue your real dreams. Question everything and have an open mind to anything. Many midlife crises and emotional breakdowns occur when someone has played the game, has achieved what they were told that they should achieve, yet they're unhappy. And often their life is slowly dismantling and falling apart due to such inner turmoil because of who they actually are and who they have become is so incompatible, and they have been living a lie. There are only two types of people: sheep that will listen and do as they're told and travel down the path that most travel on, and lions that think for themselves, carve their own path, and pave the way for others to follow. Your life needs to be your decisions and your desires. A revolution of the mind occurs when one looks deep within and realizes much of what they know or believe is either false or views that are not their own. The revolution is when that same person strikes out on their own in search for truth and turns inwards for the answer to the questions: who am I? And what do I believe?